Hello, I'm going to show you how I deal with compost, how I finish processing it, how I start it, how I finish, and all the possibilities there are when it's done. It's all pretty simple, and it goes pretty fast most of the time. Just have to wait it out. Takes a little bit of patience, but it's not it's not too bad at all. This first pile right here is the rough stuff. This stuff is just common yard debris right here. Yard and garden debris. Any kind of stuff from the yard, leaves, grass, and any stalks from the garden, all the spit plants that have been harvested and are ready to discard. The next pile is a pile that's been processed. This stuff's been ran through a little lawnmower I have with a bagger on it, and it chops it up real fine. It completely alterates the appearance, and it gets it down into a fine form to where it will begin to compost and start cooking down. This stuff you're looking at right here is primarily pine needles and debris from where I harvested the pine needles, and then right here inside here are some oak leaves that have been sitting around since last fall. This next pile right here is a pile that is composting. This pile has been mixed up. It has started compost, and maybe you can see the steam coming up out of it, which means it's starting to cook. I got a temperature probe in there, and the last time I looked at it this morning, it was at 140 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's getting pretty warm, and it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. And it will get turned and refluffed and re-aerated here in another couple of days. This pile right here is a finished pile. This is the one I'm working out of, and this is the one I'm using. And it was started last fall, just like the other pile to my side that's going through the heat. But this stuff is all ready to use and works real good. When you can use this stuff just like it is. You can plow this right into the ground, into your garden, into any flower bed, or you can process it further. And when I process it further, I run it through a little grinder, which is the little lawnmower I have. It grinds it all up, even finer than this, and then I start running it through a sieve, whichever term you want to use. And these are over here. Here's the only three I really use right now, and the first one is on that's a 1/2-inch hardware cloth on a 1/2-inch grid, and it's just nailed onto common 2x4s. The next one is a 1/4-inch hardware cloth, and the next one is a much finer screen, and it was a piece of screen, a section of a old C-type satellite dish, and I just threw it onto a wooden frame and use it for a screen, and now it makes some really fine stuff. When you start back here with this composted material, grind it a little more and then run it through the screen. If you run it all the way through to the little screen, you come out with some really fine potting soil, and it's good stuff. It's ready to go. But I'm doing another video right now about how I made this compost heap right here and what's involved with it. But I'll show you what I do though when I start grinding all this stuff up and running it through the screens. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Now you can see right here what this stuff looks like. It's all broken up, it's all chopped up, really fine. It smells like the earth. It's beautiful stuff. This is just what you want to start with before you start running it through your screens. Just like that. Now this is the first screen right here. This is a 1/2-inch screen, and it's what you want to start with. Just dump your material on it like that. Start rubbing it. It'll fall right through real fast through the big screen. And it'll take down everything except the biggest chunks. And you can see there's the biggest chunks. You just discard them. They'll go right back into the heap and just keep processing. What you get is this. It's getting finer and finer. You can use this just like that. The next size 1/4-inch screen right here. And this will take it down to what you call some really nice looking potting medium. I also want to recommend heartily that you put on gloves when you do this. You don't know what kind of vicious object might be in this stuff, so when you're rubbing your hands in here, it might just shred your hide, and we don't want that. Just rub it nice, vigorously. And then you get this. Much finer, really good looking stuff. Now we're down to the finest screen that I have, and this will take it down to some really, really fine material. So this gives you stuff that's just about as fine as you'll ever need, and you can pop plants right up with this. You can use these in seed trays for starting little seed, little eensy weensy seed even, and because you made it out of all this stuff you got in your yard, you're not going to have to pay $15 a bag for it. That's the great part. Howdy, come on in, step into my office here. Let me show you in a little bit better detail what this screening process will yield for you, and how the product can be enhanced quite easily. I'll show you right here. This is what I started with. This is the material that went through the lawnmower. You can see, I hope, that it still has a lot of big chunks of leaves in it, things like that, big chunks of pine straw and any other material that happened to be in that batch. All of this stuff can be used just like it is. You don't have to screen any of this if you don't want to. It's all good stuff. This is the next screening. This is the first screening, I should say. This is through the half-inch screen, and it looks just like this. There's some little chunks of leaves in there. I hope you can see them, but they're no more than a half-inch in size. And this stuff's getting real fine. Here's the next one. This is quarter inch. Quarter inch is getting just like something you'd pay a lot of money for if you bought this stuff in a big box store. And you will. You'll pay a lot of money for that right there. But it's just as fine as it can be right now. And then finally we get down to the real fine screen, and it ain't what I'd call powder, but it's very fine. You can put this, like I said earlier, in some seed trays. You can start some little tiny fine seed in this stuff. And you know, a lot of seed doesn't even need to be buried. It can just be on the surface, and the watering process will carry it, put it down where it needs to be, and it'll start sprouting. But I hope this looks okay to you, and you can actually see the differences. This is not complicated. It's not rocket science. But this has been a good project here, and due to the raging COVID-19 pandemic, it's been a great project for me. So I've been here on this property, and I really haven't been going anywhere. And I hope everyone out there that sees this is safe and doing great. Thanks for watching.